Hey, Sun Devil fans, Brad Denny with 3TV, CBS5, and the Speak of the Devils podcast here, bringing you the latest fall camp quick hit mini episode. This one coming right after ASU wrapped up the Camp Tontozona scrimmage to conclude their 4-day stay between the Pines, and it was great to be up there for these last 3 days covering practices, and great to see so many fans make the trip up the hill to support the Sun Devils and Kenny Dillingham, and knowing that this is going to be a tradition that's going to be coming back was obviously music to many Sun Devil fans' ears. And just like most of fall camp, it was a day dominated by the defense, just a couple of scoring drives total for the offense. But really, the headlines here today are on the injury front, and so starting off from something we talked about yesterday, Montana Warren suffered a shoulder injury and got an update from Kenny Dillingham today. Looks like it'll be 6 to 8 weeks on the shelf for the promising true freshman defensive back out of Texas. Now, we've been talking on these mini episodes, on the full Speak of the Devils episodes, going back to spring, that Montana has been a really effective player, really kind of jumping out, and had put himself in a position to get significant playing time and be a crucial part of the Sun Devil defense as a true freshman. But he's going to be on the shelf for quite some time, for looks like at least a month and a half, couple months, which is really kind of disappointing news. And with the expected, or with Jake Smith getting his NCAA waiver denied by the NCAA, doesn't look great that safety Xavier Alford, who's been really a fantastic addition for the Sun Devil defense, doesn't necessarily sound great in the prospects there. Just kind of seeing what the NCAA has done with those denials pretty much across the board, across the country. So Shamari Simmons has established himself as a starter, going back to spring, the Austin Peay transfer. Chris Edmonds, of course, was starter for the Sun Devils a year ago, but Montana Warren was in that mix to definitely be a guy that could contribute right off the bat. So it's really unfortunate to hear that news. And then, of course, during the scrimmage today, if you were there, you saw that Drew Pine went down about halfway through. Kenny Dillingham, after the practice, told us it's a minor hamstring tear. Those were Kenny's words. Of course, more testing will be happening at MRI to get the exact severity of that injury, but obviously some significant ramifications at that corner, or that quarterback spot. That is, the quarterback competition with Trenton Bourguet has been the story of fall camp. So we will see exactly how that plays out, and then the team came down the hill right after the scrimmage this morning. So they have an off day on Sunday, and then practice resumes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So we'll definitely be tracking the impact of that injury on the quarterback battle. And Joe and I will be back in studio next Tuesday evening for kind of a full recap of what we've seen through fall camp at that point. But obviously, all eyes will kind of be on that quarterback battle. Now, kind of turning things over to actually what happened on Saturday morning in between the Pines at Camp Tontozona. Now, of course, with so many fans in attendance, they kept things pretty vanilla. And as Kenny told us yesterday, that the guys that are pretty established in terms of the depth chart, are at the top of the depth chart, going to see maybe a couple drives, maybe 10, 20 plays at total. But with the most of the reps kind of going to guys kind of further down the depth chart, guys still battling for positioning within that. So the thing started off with a kind of, after some individual sessions and special teams work, it's some 2-point conversion drives. And again, the defense continuing to be really good. Bourguet got things started, but good pass breakups by Roe Torrance and Jordan Clark kind of shut that down. Drew Pine then took over, and our guest on yesterday's episode, Keith Abney, the true freshman corner, continuing to be a really good and kind of a revelation in fall camp, had a good breakup and kind of kept things out of kept the offense out of the end zone. Kind of the highlight there. And then things kind of went into a team setting, and again, the defense continued to really kind of to dominate the day and just kind of keeping the offense held in check no matter who the quarterback was. Now, Drew Pine's injury came on a play where he was kind of scrambling, made a slide, and then looked like he was down. Really unfortunate there, but Jaden Rashada was the one who got probably the most work of any of the quarterbacks on the day. Several drives, including the lone touchdown drive of the day, where he took some shots downfield, connected with wide receiver Sean Charles, the former NAU transfer from a couple seasons back, and got the crowd kind of pepped up and into it, but the touchdown was negated by a penalty. But if it worked once, let's do it again. So Rashada showed off that arm strength, connected with Charles on the very next play for the day's lone touchdown. So it was good to see kind of some of the flashes that, Jaden Rashada's arm strength we've seen through spring camp and fall camp now. While there is definitely some areas that he just does look like a true freshman, that all-world kind of talent arm strength is on display. And when he makes a good throw, you definitely know it definitely just pops out different. George Hart got plenty of run on the day, both as a receiver and a runner, did some good things well. Another guy who had a big run on the day was Kyson Brown, true freshman running back out of Texas, continuing to be extremely impressive. The defensive backs had a pretty strong day keeping the wide receivers in check. Dario Longetto was good on his only attempt of the day from about 37, 38 yards. So those are just the two scoring drives, the field goal, and then later on the touchdown drive near the back half of the practice session. Garen Stansbury continued to have a very good fall camp, had a pass break. It seems like every practice he's getting into the backfield, and if he's not making the sack, yesterday he had a strip sack, gets up, gets those arms to that huge frame of his and knocking passes down, had a good tackle for loss in run defense as well. But, a lot of reps for some of the younger guys and guys battling. There was a nice throw from Rashada to Jalen Conyers, the tight end, over the middle for a big gain. But really kind of the big plays offensively were really kind of held in check, just a lot of quick out stuff. And, the defense continuing just to make life really difficult for this Sun Devil offense. So we will see how things kind of pan out. Now, looking ahead, I mentioned they have practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they're off Thursday, Friday with school opening up, and then they practice the next weekend. So as we are getting closer and closer to the season opener on the 31st against Southern Utah, I expect that quarterback decision might be coming perhaps maybe a little sooner than we thought, but probably this week might be some significant news on that front. So, of course, we will be tracking everything on that as we with our next episode, and, of course, on the Speak of the Devil social media channel. So after the scrimmage earlier today, had a chance to, while fans, were invited on the field to, meet the players, talk with them, get pictures and autographs. So was able to try to get a couple interviews for you for this episode. First up, you're going to hear from cornerback Macen Williams, who's part of a really strong secondary performance. Now, Ro Torrance is established pretty well on one side of the defense as a starting corner, but Ed Woods, Macen Williams, and newcomer D Ford continue to be really impressive and bringing a lot of physicality with this new Sun Devil defense, with a kind of focus on bringing the fight to the opposing offense. So here's my chat with Macen Williams.
Camp Tontozona?
Yep.
How do you think it's went? How do you even enjoyed kind of roughing it out here in the Pines?
Sure, I enjoyed it. This is my only second time out here, so it's good that we bringing the tradition back, because last year we just came up here for a day and just went back home. But now I got to experience what the past ASU players experience, and I really enjoyed it, actually.
What were some of your favorite parts of just kind of the bonding, the brotherhood? Obviously, you guys practiced for a couple hours a day, but just like the focus, obviously, mostly on kind of growing closer as a team.
Yeah, yesterday, about half the team just decided they wanted to go to the creek, and just one by one, everybody was showing up and just jumping into the water. And I feel like that should be, tradition, reoccurring, because I know it happened in the past. And, they stopped it for a while, but it's just good to see, some culture coming back into the program. And, I really enjoyed it. It's something that I really appreciate, being part of a new legacy that's that was gone for a while and now coming back. So it's kind of it's like I'm part of what is starting it back up again.
Yeah, what has it been like? Obviously you've been in the program a couple of years now, and last year was pretty difficult for the team as a whole. This year it seems like there's a lot of new energy. You mentioned kind of the revitalization of the culture.
Yeah.
What are kind of the biggest differences from kind of the previous years to this year so far?
Just the bonding period. The coaches really emphasize team culture, and so that comes with team meals, with your position groups, activities with the whole team, and just getting to know everybody else. A big emphasis was, just staying off your phone and just getting to know other people, playing games with other people. And I feel like that was a big reason why everybody is collectively meshing together, offense, defense, everybody. Everybody is getting to know everybody. So in the past years, you might not talk to some people because you don't really interact with their group because they're a different position on the other side of the ball or wherever that may be. But now everybody's just sitting down, getting to know each other, and everybody knows everybody. So, that's a big part of the team, and why I feel like, we're going to shock a lot of people this year, because everybody's just so locked in together. We have one common goal.
Where do you see like kind of the strides in your game? Obviously go from spring, learning this brand new defense of Brian Ward, to now a couple weeks into fall camp. How you feel your fit in this defense is coming along?
I feel well. Just playing to my strengths. I get to show my versatility now, even so, playing inside now. So, I'm enjoying it for real. So I feel like everybody is playing to their strengths. Everybody can be free to play to their IQ or play to their speed, play to their physicality. So it all works for everybody.
I talked to a couple guys on defense, and one of the kind of the common refrains is like, this year's defense seems like lets you guys play football, kind of, you said, play to your strengths and be aggressive and attack an opposing offense. What is it like just going from a kind of a defense last year to one that's bringing the fight to the offense?
I just feel like it's a lot more versatility, a lot more different looks. So I feel like a lot of people is not really gonna know what they're gonna get, because we bring so many different things, and we have so much depth in the back end and the front end, to where we could keep guys fresh and just keep coming and just be relentless. And I feel like being relentless is a big part of being a great defense, and I feel like that's a big part of our game.
What's Brian Carrington brought to this group is kind of overseeing the corners?
Just collectively as a whole, he brings everybody together. Like I said, we have like occasional meals with position groups, and a big emphasis of his is like just being yourself, like outside of football. Like, you're not just a football player, but who are you when this is all over? You know what I mean? So everybody is close, and we don't view each other as like just teammates. We're brothers, and we actually feel like we're family. And so when we go in the film room, it just makes everything easier because everybody respects each other.
A few more weeks until the opener against Southern Utah. What are some of the things that you want to make sure that you get done over the practices leading up to Southern Utah to make sure you're ready to go for 2023?
I just want to be versatile enough to play anywhere on the football field. I've been moving around a little bit, and I don't complain. I want to be that player that could fit in anywhere. So I feel that when the time comes, if any situation happens, you could just put me in there. It's no drop off at all, and that's why I view as myself. That's why I already view as myself. But even now more than so, I'm just more prepared than anything.
And as we've talked about all fall camp long, the offensive line is going to be pretty crucial to see how this Kenny Dillingham, Bo Baldwin offense is able to function with a lot of the explosive playmakers. And one of the key newcomers is center Leif Fautanu, who is coming over from UNLV. And while there has been a lot of shuffling on the offensive line as of late, some due to injury, some due to just kind of coaches trying to experiment, one of the key constants has been Leif in the middle. So had a chance to talk with him about how that line's coming together.
Camp scrimmage, what is it like just kind of being up here in the Pines?
Oh, it's amazing. Just the beds. We're kind of like had caused some adversity, but I definitely trade some hours of sleep for this weather. This weather is amazing. Nice breeze. It doesn't get higher than 90, but it's amazing over here.
What's it just been like? Obviously, the football is part of it, but like the main thing focus of Camp T is kind of the bonding, the brotherhood, all this stuff. How do you feel like that's kind of impacted you guys coming along?
I think that we came along a long way. I think we bonded a lot more than we thought we did coming into this. We took out a lot of the distractions of phones, relationships, all the outside world, and it was just us here. So I think that with having us here, with no distractions, it helped us get that much closer and know who everyone is on the team.
Kind of as a newcomer, this is obviously a very kind of focal point of like kind of Sun Devil lore and Sun Devil history. What's it like just kind of hitting the ground running with a head coach, obviously in his first years in the program as well, just kind of embracing all that it means to be a Sun Devil?
Oh yeah, I never knew how much history this place has, and after so much people has told me like the history behind Camp T and what it means to them, like DJ Foster, Steve Miller, and all them other dudes that came before me, it's really big. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than this team, so it's good to play for each other and with each other.
So why was Arizona State the right place for you to continue your career?
I think that it had to do with the coaching staff and the people that they were going to bring into this team. I think Coach Dillingham did a really good job of recruiting, and as well as Coach Tuitele. I bought into their vision. They told me what they wanted to do with this team, and and how much history this team has and how good it can be. So I wanted to jump on that train.
You mentioned the kind of the chemistry building, and just as a team up here in Camp T, offensive line chemistry is obviously very crucial as well. Seems like there's still some shuffling around. Guys maybe a little dinged up, but also trying different positions. How do you feel like kind of the rapport and the chemistry is coming along? Even with some of the guys kind of maybe not yet completely set in the starting five.
No, yeah, I think that today, especially with shuffling the lineups, I think it's more of if someone were to go down, it's the next man up mentality. Just so that if there was something to happen during the season, we won't fall off any type of way. So I think that if someone were to get hurt, we won't fall off, and just mixing those lineups up, it'll really help us in the long run.
How have you seen kind of the strides, since coming over in the spring, making that jump from, the Mountain West to Power 5 football here, and just now in a couple weeks into fall camp? How do you see kind of the strides in your own personal game?
I think I've done really good with my feet as well. I think Coach T has done a really good job in developing my game. I thought I knew quite a bit about football, especially playing for 3 years, but Coach T and Coach Kenny has done a really good job expanding my knowledge. There's always room improvement for me, so I think that continuing on to the season will really help me in my game.
What kind of stands out about Coach T and what he's been able to bring, just kind of how he is as a teacher and leader of the position group?
I've had at least 4 or 5 O-line coaches, and I think that Coach T is very personal. He wants to know you as a person, not as a player. So he has a relationship with who you are as a person outside of football. He doesn't really care about the football piece. He cares about the character of the person, and I think that the coach is a direct reflection of the players he recruits. So I think that the people that he's brought in since the spring, since I got here, has been a tremendous stride.
Kenny's told us a couple times after practice that he thinks the offensive line has been one of the more impressive position groups so far on this team. Obviously, a very crucial position group as well. What are you guys? What are you kind of like the next couple of weeks getting ready for the opener against Southern Utah? That you want to make sure that you and you kind of as one of the leaders of that position group get ready to make sure you guys are ready to go in the trenches on August 31st.
Yeah, I think that all we need to do is just fundamentals. That's our one thing that we need to get better at. Coach T harps on us about do simple better. So I think that just the basics, we don't need to do anything fancy. Just come together, do the fundamentals that he teaches us, and everything will work out.
And last but certainly not least, quarterback Trenton Bourguet. I was able to catch him for just a couple of minutes as he was pretty popular with a lot of the young fans, a lot of kids trying to get their pictures taken and autographs from him. But I was able to catch up with Trenton to talk about Camp T, the experience, the bonding, and the performance on the field.
What's the overall experience like these last 3 days for you?
I think it's been super fun. Just to be out here, away from everything, all the distractions. It's crazy. Sleeping conditions aren't the best, and eating. Coach did a great job of having food trucks and grilling, but just hanging out with your teammates. Literally spending 72 hours plus. Constantly with each other. Making memories not only on the football field, but in the cabins, in the creek, on the hike. So it's been super fun.
What's been kind of the favorite moment of bonding for you?
Favorite moment, I've been saying, just my cabin alone, there's 12 of us, and I think 8 of them were defensive guys, and just, making conversations with people that I never really used to talk to a lot, but it's been super fun.
All right, so, in the scrimmage specifically, how do you think you and the offense have come along?
Yeah, for me, there was definitely a couple throws and reads that, I wish I could have taken back, but that's a part of, just the quarterback position. You're going to go back, watch film, and learn from it. Obviously, we're going against a great defense that have seen us, the last 8 months, so it's tough. But, really just got to make sure, we finish better. I think after the halftime break or whatever, we had a couple better drives. The younger guys got to get out there and they got to show what they can showcase. And, Jaden had a couple great balls, and Sean and Coben and, KB, they did a great job with their opportunity. But it was a lot of fun for sure.
What was it like just seeing Jaden's progression from, true freshman in the spring to, it looks like he's, every practice seems getting better and better?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the game's starting to slow down for him. He's finally starting to understand the offense. Obviously he was thrown in the fire, in the spring, but I think he's done a great job of progressing and asking me for questions and anything to help. And, it's fun when I get to call the plays for Jaden and those guys out there, but it was cool to see what they could do.
How do you feel like kind of the offense as a whole? A lot of new pieces, the offensive line, some guys were shuffling around a little bit. Of course, you and Drew going at it. Just how do you feel like just, a couple weeks out now from the opener, how things are kind of progressing, and when do you guys think you might kind of solidify things going forward for the opener?
Yeah, I think obviously, each and every day I think we've gotten better. There's been days where, we've kind of slipped a little bit, but definitely learning from that and trying to get better. And I definitely think, we're getting more comfortable with each other within the offense with Coach Dillingham and Coach Baldwin and all the other coaches, but it's been a great journey so far.
It seems like one guy has kind of really caught my eye on the offensive side of the ball. A newcomer this summer is Kyson Brown. What is he bringing to this offense? Do you think he can sneak his way into getting a role?
Yeah, I definitely think he's done a great job so far, and I just can't wait to see what he does and what all these other guys do as well.
And so the next couple of weeks are, leading into that opener against Southern Utah. What are some of the things that you and the offense just want to make sure that you guys get down and lock down after you guys get back from pacing to get ready for the season ahead?
Yeah, really, not look too far ahead. We still got 2 weeks, so we don't want to, be looking for the game already, but making sure we take each and every day serious, not having an off day and just getting excited because, it's going to be here before we know it.
How's the chemistry kind of going with the deep group of wide receivers? Obviously disappointing news about Jake, but just overall, a lot of targets out there. How the chemistry is coming along?
I definitely think, over fall camp, early we're still trying to get timing down, but lately, we've been able to, pre-snap know, okay, this is where he's going to break, and we're throwing it, right as he gets out of his cut, quarterbacks are anticipating. So I definitely think that bond and, just that chemistry has improved a lot, and I just think it's even going to get better during the season.
Coben seems to be continue to make strides after a strong spring. There's a chance we see a Bourguet touchdown this year.
Yeah, I think, you never know what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. And I'm super excited that, he's been able to, find his role and accept his role, and he's really excelling at his role. He's doing whatever he can, but pretty much everybody on the team really is doing a great job so far. And if it happens, it happens, and we'll see what happens.
And to close out this mini episode, here are the comments that Kenny Dillingham gave to us right after the Camp T scrimmage.
Coach, overall, what you think today?
Sloppy. First time you're doing a real scrimmage. Too many penalties. I didn't like our transitions at times on and off the field, but that's why you scrimmage. That's why you practice in these settings with coaches off the field, is to get better. So I think our guys had solid energy, right? But I thought there's a lot that we can grow from, and it's a really good learning experience for our guys of, man, that's what a game looks like. No coach on the field, no help, right? Harder to hear, right? And with just all those environments are really good for our guys to get, and our staff to get, being new.
How's Drew?
Drew, he's okay. He has a little minor hamstring tear, but we'll find out the severity of it, but he's in good spirits.
How about the crowd today?
Awesome. I mean, the fan support, unbelievable. I mean, our players are over there, and they're like, hey, we should do the fight song for the fans. And they all learned it. But none of them knew it. We had like 5 players do the fight song. And for them to be like, hey, let's go do the fight song for the fans, like, that's what college sports is about. It's about the kid. It's about the player, and for our kids and our players to feel that connected with a fan base, right, just shows you the power that our fan base has. What our players read, what you say is important. The positiveness that we produce is important, right? And this is just a testimony that they wanted to show grace and give back to our fans who, came out and supported them here today. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, how do you feel that some of the younger guys, I know you said a little bit sloppy, but just adjusted, like you said, with no coaches on the field and just how they played?
Yeah, I thought Keith Abney's coming along. Man, is he coming along. That's a guy who's going to help us. JoJo's coming along. Caleb Black's coming along. So, I mean, as you could tell, we only did 1-2 series with the ones, and then we wanted to get a lot of work with guys who haven't been in this environment, because the ones most of those guys have played in these environments before. They've gone on in the field, they've gone off, they've been on in these games settings. So our first scrimmage, real live one, we wanted to really put the 2s, the 3s, the young bucks to a test, right, and see which guys rose to the occasion and which guys kind of panicked.
Can you sum this up, this trip to Tontozona for us?
Unbelievable. I mean, that's the best way. I mean, our guys, like yesterday, we finished dodgeball, we go eat, and I just see a wave of people walking that way, and they're walking to go jump in the river where Pat Tillman used to jump. Now we're not supposed to jump like they used to jump, but we have 50-something guys, 10 staff over there in the middle of the day just swimming in the river. It's not a team event, it's just what they wanted to do. Last night we're talking about great teams in ASU history, and we have Jeff Van Raphorst sitting right there, and our guys are talking about Rose Bowl teams. So having that community and having these guys come together, I think they were shocked by how much joy they had out here. And that's what, it may not work this year, may not work next year, but in year 3 and year 4, this is what builds culture.
What's your favorite thing about this experience and your least favorite thing?
Favorite thing, just the guys, being around the guys all the time. Seeing the guys if we're hiking a mountain and they've never hiked a mountain before, and seeing them look out into the green hills, right, and being like, man, I'm from South Dallas, I've never seen this, or I'm from LA, and then seeing guys jump in a creek and it's freezing cold and they pop up out of the water and their eyes are just like, woo! And it's just, worst thing, obviously the beds aren't very good, right? You know, the facility definitely needs some upkeep. I hope, you know, maybe we can get some people behind that, some people who are passionate about this place like I am, and, you know, maybe improve some of the facilities so we could come up here longer. I'd love to come up here longer if the facilities were just in a little better shape, but all in all, no complaints. Unbelievable experience for our guys, unbelievable experience for our staff. Other than that, the beds and a few things, I wouldn't change a thing.
With all the bonding activities and stuff, does the team and group feel a little different maybe than the group that came up here 3 or 4 days ago?
Yeah, I think our team is growing together. It's not overnight. I mean, we're not going to snap our fingers and we're not going to be the culture we want. This is going to take time. It's going to take years. It's going to take years and years of work to build it. I mean, I think the last, if you just talk national champions alone, I think the last new coach to take over a program, win a national champion, the soonest he did it in the last 20 years was 7 years, right? Kirby Smart at Georgia. Culture takes time. Building something right takes time. If you're not going to take shortcuts, it's going to take time, right? And we need everybody behind us, and this support that we have today, can we continue that support through the good and the bad? And I think we will, because I think we got a lot of passionate fans who care about this place and see that we're trying to bring back the traditions of old that people love to see.
Kenny, Montana Warren's had a really good camp so far. I know today he was in a sling. Do you have an update on his status?
Yeah, he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, unfortunately. Right, maybe a little more, but hopefully he'll be back 6 to 8 weeks, midweek or mid-season. He's in great spirits. That's a tough kid. You talk freshman, that is a tough kid.
Is it a shoulder or a collarbone?
Shoulder.
How would you assess how Jaden did today at quarterback?
Yeah, I thought he grew. From the beginning of the scrimmage to the end of the scrimmage, there was a drastic improvement in his game. He just got more comfortable, and that's why we got him a lot of reps. It's because the only way to get good at football is to play football, right? So all the 7-on-7, all the indie drills, they all are great. They're all important, but until you play football, right, it's not the same.
How does Drew getting dinged up maybe change the calculus in terms of the quarterback battle, or does it change anything?
Hard to tell until we get a real synopsis of his situation.